Hello! In this video, I want to do an updated walkthrough of how I'm using NotePlan 3. So if you've not used NotePlan before, or if you didn't already see my introduction to NotePlan 3 video, I'll leave the link in the description box so that you can check that out first, where I talk more about what NotePlan 3 is. It was my first impressions. I was rather new to it at the time, and now I've been using it for several months, and I use this app every single day, all day long. I really am loving it. So what it does is it combines daily notes. You have a note for each day. It links it to your calendar, so your Google Calendar or your Apple Calendar, your Apple reminders, and you can also time block in NotePlan to see it on the calendar here, which I'll talk about in this video. And what it also does is it gives you space to have page notes. So you can just have your notes and your calendar events all tied in one application. So I pretty much use this for everything. I have meeting notes, I have reading notes organized in these folders as notes, and then I have my daily notes with my daily agenda, what I need to do, and where I can just kind of inbox things. So before I dive into more about how I set things up, I do want to explain why I love having everything in this one place. So there's multiple reasons, but one of them is this global search. And so I can pull up this search bar with a simple shortcut, even if I'm not in the NotePlan application. But let's just say I pull up the shortcut and I get this command bar. And what that command bar does is it's a global search, like I said. So anywhere I may have written remember this, for example, I can search for remember this in all the tasks and paragraphs. And in any of my meeting notes, it would find that remember this, and also in any of my daily notes or calendar notes. So it searches through everything, my calendar, my reminders, my daily notes, and my notes for that search term. So that's really powerful. As well, when I want to do navigation, I can do that with just this command J. So if I want to go, I'm on May 6th here. If I want to go to May 7th, I can just navigate with the command bar. So I can navigate between days. I can find things really easily. So that command bar is a superpower. I can even go to today. I can go to tomorrow. I can search for a specific page. So these would be all of my note pages that I have, and I could search for them. If I know the specific name, I could search for it. Also, if I just want to create a note on the fly called notes, I can do that and it would create a page for me. And then the last thing I want to show you on the command bar, since I don't want to make a whole video about the command bar, is that you can also add something to your today's notes. So say I want to make a video today, I can add that task to today. Or I want to make a video, let's say on May 6th. You would just do that, and look, it adds a task for you. So you can use that to add any quick task to any day. And the reason that I'm spending so much time on this command bar is because I didn't realize the full power of the command bar at the beginning, and it's something that I've learned to utilize more. Because even if I'm in another application, so here's my YouTube video that I was talking about before. Even though I'm in Google Chrome, clearly right now, I'm clicked on Google Chrome, you can use that global shortcut and you can add a task. So I could say, like here, I could copy the URL and I want to remember that. So watch this video, paste in the URL, and then just append the date onto the end, and boom, it just pops in to my daily note just like that, which is super helpful. So again, within the app or even outside of the app, you can add little tasks for yourself, and then you can just append the date that you need it on, press enter, and I put that one on May 7th. So boom, it's going to be at the top of my list for May 7th. So I encourage you to keep playing with the command bar until you find your flow. The two things that I'm not going to talk about a lot in this video, because I know it's going to be long already, is the weekly reviews. So there is a weekly review here, which can be really nice. And then there's this other review where you can set up your own filters that you want. So you can set that up. So again, I'm not going to dive into that right now. I'm going to go back to talking more about how to set up your daily note. Let me show you how this works. I kind of set up a mock sample day, and I'll show you some strategies that I've been using. So let me go ahead and delete what I have here so we can start from a blank page, which is what you get on these daily notes. You can scroll through your different pages just like this. This is May 6th and this is May 7th. So you get a blank page on each new day. These little icons, this means that you have an open task and this means that you have an event on that day, but we won't worry too much about the intricacies. Let me just show you how I set things up. So I usually start with a header, and you can type in markdown. That's the easiest way that I've gotten started. So you can make it whatever you want the header to be, and then you can have subheadings. So I usually have priority tasks, and then I will put down whatever my priority tasks are. There are a lot of shortcuts like I just used for making that new task item. So you can learn those under the format menu, or you can also just use markdown. So if you hit the plus sign, then you can learn all of the markdown. So that's really helpful. So let's go ahead and put down my 3 priority items for the day. And then I would have a section for other tasks, which I just call my tasks. And then I might have a couple of things here. You can also have things that you want to check off and maybe just reminders. So I could have bold reminders under that, just have some tick marks. And then I usually do some time block. So that's kind of how I set up my day. And there aren't any specific templates in NotePlan, but what I've done on my Mac is this. If you open up your system preferences and you go to keyboard, you can actually click on text and you can set up your own shortcuts. And so I have one that is set up as daily like this. And what that has is it has everything. I just copied and pasted. Let me just show you what it looks like. So when I type in daily space, it has all those things that I just described to you so that I can just start with that and I don't have to type it every day. So that is helpful. How I did that was I just typed it all once and then I just copied it. And then I went into my system preferences. I hit the plus button. Then I typed /daily. And then in the with place, I just pasted in exactly what I had copied, and that works perfectly. So I will delete that because I don't need another one. So that's how you can set up some templates, going to your system preferences and then going into keyboard and clicking text. Okay. So let's go back to this note that I had set up. You can obviously check off things. You can schedule things for another day. So say I didn't get to item 2, but I want to get to it on May 7th. I can just defer it. And what that does is if I click on May 7th now, you'll see that it copied that item over and it references back to my original day. So if I click on the hyperlink, they actually go back and forth. So those are backlinks. And then if I want to cancel an item, so don't want to do it anymore, I can cancel a task. Maybe it's not important. And so I have that crossing out. Another thing you can do is if you have a couple of tasks, for example, I can make subtasks just tabbing in. So say that I broke this into 3 different subtasks that I want to do on different days. I could schedule them like I just showed you. So I'm going to put one of them like that. But what I can also do, which I really enjoyed, because what this does is it just copies it. So when I copy it, if I changed the task here a little bit, so I made it a little bit more specific, it doesn't link the two. So you'll see that it says subtask 1 here, but even though I had changed it over here, while they link back and forth, the text doesn't change. So they're now different. What I can do though is I can use this other way of linking things. So you can link to notes and you can link to different days. So I could link to May 7th in this way. So I just did bracket, and then I can choose May 7th. And what that's going to do, let me go now to that day. You see it adds a little reference section at the top. And now this is just like a link back. So if I were to add something here, you'll see that when I click on now the next day, it updates because they're just linked together. And I can always click to go back easily, or if I just finish that task and I don't need to click on the day, I can just complete it right there. So that's really nice, and I'm going to show you more about how that type of reference backlinking works, because that's what I use a lot of. Now, one other thing that I use a lot of is oftentimes, like, I'll have things like this, but I want to reorder. I want this to kind of go down here, for example. The shortcut Command, Control, and down arrow lets you just move things around really easily. So that took me a little bit of a while to figure out that there are a lot of navigation tips in this edit menu, and I really recommend checking that out because it makes your workflow a lot easier once you use that, and also the view keyboard shortcuts, because you can easily go between notes and days just by using some of these shortcuts. Okay, so now I want to dig more into this linking to things. So say that I have a meeting and I want to create a whole note. So not just somewhere in my daily note, but I want to create a big note for that. What you can do is click on New Note here, and I can have my meeting notes for Project X. And then what I usually do is I just name the notes by date. So let's say we are May 6th, and then I could have another date, May 7th, and I can just have my meeting notes here and to-do items down here. What I can do there is I can link back to a certain date. So if I need to follow up on item 1 on a specific date, let's say May 14, I can do that. And then I need to do 2, let's say that I need to do that on that specific day. And let me show you what happens. If I click on May 14th first, then you'll see that it brings that up in my reference list. And of course, if I actually click on this anywhere in the gray area, it brings me back to that specific page of meeting notes so that I can reference it and remember what I was doing. Or if it was just a specific task, I can just check it off on that day. So that's really nice. It all is here. I can collapse that menu and I can expand it. And then if I go back to the note and I look at the other date, it's going to do the same exact thing. So another thing that I could do is I could say in my reminders area, for example, I want to be taking notes in that actual meeting note that I set up in advance. You can do bracket, bracket, choose that meeting note, and it will link to there. So again, it creates that backlink. So now when I click on that, it brings me to this actual meeting note, which is really handy so that it just like hyperlinks everything together. So I can click on everything that I need for the day from one place. So if I have another note sheet, no matter what folder it's in, whatever it's in, I can set that up in advance that I kind of have the hyperlink out to it. And then I can also see when I go to this meeting notes page that I reference this on May 6th. If I went to the next day, and I again referenced that meeting notes, then now when I go there, I'm going to see that I added these meeting notes on May 6th and on May 7th to my daily list. So that would be my way of tracking what days I referenced these meeting notes. Okay, so let me show you a couple other things. All of these headers also fold down, so that's really nice. So you can fold and unfold, and there's some shortcuts for this also, but I'll just show you they fold and unfold. So when I have my meeting notes, that's really handy because I would want May 6th, I would want to fold it and then focus on the next day. And honestly, I don't even know why I set it up this way. I always go in reverse order. So I have the newest date on top and the older dates on the bottom. And then if you want some visual separation, there is also the ability to add in a line separator. So I will oftentimes do that to just give that visual separation between parts. You can do that same line break in your daily notes. That's the nice thing here is that the daily notes and your actual notes function the same way. It's just the daily notes are connected to your calendar here versus your actual meeting notes is a blank page, so it doesn't have a date attached to it. I would almost encourage you to think of one of those planners that you get that's like a binder style where you can insert blank pages anywhere, or you could have like a tab where you have blank note pages, and these notes are just like your blank note pages versus your daily notes are things in your actual agenda calendar. Okay, that's that. Oh, the last thing you can do is you can also put in URLs and they nicely link. So if I wanted this subtask, again, I'm using Markdown here, to go to Google, what it does, as soon as you end the last parenthesis, it just makes it into a little icon, link icon, so that you don't see the big, huge URL. And then this is actually a hyperlink that would take me to Google in this case. So that's really nice as well. And you can insert images in here also. Okay, I think those were the main things that I wanted to talk about here. And then I want to get to more of the calendar on the side. So first of all, you can add in actual calendar events, and this will link with your Apple Calendar. And so I have my Google Calendar linked to my Apple Calendar. So my Google Calendar actually all live updates here. So I use my Google Calendar for all my work stuff. So it all syncs up here, which is beautiful. And then there's reminders, and this actually links and syncs to your Apple reminders. So I love that too. All of these just show up in my reminders on my phone and on my Mac, and all my calendar events show up on my Google Calendar and here in NotePlan, so I can see everything. And then you can do some time blocking, which I also really like to plan out my day in advance, and I like the visual. So I know like when I might have a meeting, so I can schedule around that. And then I just add a new task and say that I need to make this video at 3 p.m. Because I wrote 3 p.m., it's showing up on the side like this. And if I know it's going to take me an hour, I can say from 3 to 4, and it extends that time. Let's do 3 to 5 so that I can see the length of it and I can put that all on the side. So the trigger word there is at. I found that you can also do, I kind of like the way it looks better when I do 7 o'clock. If you put in the colon, it also triggers to come up on the side. So 7 o'clock to 7:45 p.m. Edit this video. That also triggers to show up on the sidebar here. And I just kind of prefer writing it like this with the time in the front. So again, the trigger for this is just the colon, and then you do want to put AM or PM if you're using 12-hour time. So I really like doing that as well. And when you check it off, it goes away from the calendar sidebar. So note that this does not actually create a time entry. So this does not actually link to my calendar. I would not see this part in my Google Calendar. Only events that I added will be on my Google Calendar. But I can add events directly here in NotePlan as well. So if you want things to sync with your Google Calendar, you need to add an event on the side. If you want a reminder, you would make it a reminder using that reminder tab, and there are shortcuts for all of that, of course. And then if you just want it to show up on the calendar, but you don't want it to sync anywhere, so you just kind of want to time block your day, you can do that by using either the @ or by using a colon in the time. That's going to be it for this video. That's kind of how I'm using things. I do a lot in my daily notes to just kind of put my priority tasks, my tasks, then my time blocking. I would link out to any project notes that I have for the day where I'm going to take more intensive notes. And the reason I set it as a page is because I want to be able to like reference all my notes for project X in one place. I don't want to have to go to like May 6th and May 7th and May 14th to figure out what I was doing for Project X. I want all of Project X's notes to live in one place. So that's why I would create a new note for it so that all of that can live in one place, but I can easily link to it from my daily notes section so that it's easier for me to get where I need to go for the day. It's not like I have a million pages. I might have 5 different pages for the day, but they're all referenced in my daily note so that when I get started for the day, everything I need is in one place. And so I do this planning the night before. So I have all of my links ready to go in the morning. I have all of my items that I need to take care of ready to go in the morning. I am more of an evening reflective thinker, and so that works best for me. Maybe you like to plan out your day in the morning. I like to do it in the evening, and then that's part of my shutdown routine. I do a reflection and I plan out my next day. So my reflection, I kind of go through any open tasks, think about if I have completed them, if I need to schedule them for another day, or if they're things that I really can get rid of and I don't need to attend to. And then a lot of times I give myself a space to actually write out some bullet point reflections or a little paragraph just to think about the day, and then I will map out my next day. I will say a lot of times if I didn't complete a task and I just don't want all these links to appear here, because a lot of times I just don't need to backlink it. I just know that I still need to get to it. So say I uncheck all these things. Instead of scheduling it, a lot of times, honestly, I just go ahead and I copy it and I go over to my next day, and let's say there was nothing there, and I would do my daily template. There we go. And then I would just paste it under my tasks. So that's my way a lot of times of just moving things entirely instead of scheduling them and backlinking them, because sometimes I just don't need that level of detail. I just didn't get to it today. So I delete it here and then I paste it on my next day. So that's really how I am using NotePlan. I really love it. It also works the same way on my phone. If you have an iPad, it works on an iPad, and it works on the Mac. So I hope that you enjoyed. Please leave any questions or tell me how you're using NotePlan in the comments below. Okay, that's all for now. Bye.